Alors bonjour à tous, bienvenue à une édition spéciale d'un épisode de Juste Masso. Comme vous pouvez le constater, Michael brille de son absence ce matin, mais j'ai échangé Michael l'espace d'une journée pour être en compagnie de nul autre que Tom Myers, qui nous fait plaisir de sa présence ce week-end à Québec pour de la formation. Donc, je suis désolée d'avance, je devrais parler en anglais et clairement, l'anglais, ce n'est pas ma force. Donc, je suis désolée si ça vous griche un peu les oreilles, mais je vais essayer de faire un peu de traduction du moins pour mes questions. Puis ce qui est des réponses, je demanderai à Michael de nous mettre des sous-titres éventuellement dans la vidéo. Sur ce, bonne chance et bonne écoute. So, good morning, Tom.
Good morning.
Nice to meet you.
Mon français, ce n'est pas fort.
Thank you for taking a few minutes with us this morning.
My pleasure.
Amay from Just Masso, the podcast. It's a podcast for massage therapists by massage therapists, and it's in French.
Good for you.
Yeah. So my partner, Michael, couldn't be here today, so I'm going to try to speak in English for you.
Okay.
Because it's not my strength. We want you to discover you and introduce you to our audience. So I have 10 questions, and you try to answer it quickly.
Okay.
Okay?
10 questions quick.
Yes.
Okay.
Good luck.
10 questions.
10 questions rapides.
Avec vitesse.
Avec vitesse. So, tell me, who is Tom Myers? Tell us something about you, your interests, your occupation.
Tom Myers is somebody who grew up by the sea, and therefore the ocean and all the ways the ocean moves has been something that's very, very deep in my soul. So you want to know something about Tom Myers?
No, that's cool, I love that. J'ai demandé en fait qui il était. Donc, traduction en dessous.
Il y a Tom Myers the person,
yeah.
And il y a Tom Myers the event, yes?
Yes.
Which is what you're interviewing, is Tom Myers the event.
Oh, what is the difference?
So I just told you something about the person.
Oh,
you
okay.
want to know more about the event? Yes. I met Ida Rolf in 1973, and this woman took a friend of mine who was one of these people whose rib cage is so collapsed that he can hardly breathe. And in about a half an hour of working with his chest was deeper, his voice was deeper, even his emotions were more in connection, because I knew him, he was a friend of mine. And I thought, this is really interesting magic. I want to be able to do this. So I was not naturally able to do this. I came from New England, just south of Quebec, and so I was very buttoned up sexually and emotionally, and just, New England. New England male. We know if we move our hips, something terrible is going to happen. We don't know what it is. So I was not a natural body worker, but I just was so impressed by what this woman did that I wanted to do something similar, and 50 years later, I'm still doing it.
Oh, okay. How did you meet her?
In the early 1970s, meditation, massage, yoga, all these things were just coming into the culture. They were not in the culture at all. You couldn't get yoga on every street corner in those days. And so I was interested in meditation and martial arts and learning psychological clearing practices, and Rolfing, as it was then known, this deep, deep body work was one of the things on the so-called human potential circuit.
Okay.
Now we call this New Age or alternative therapies or something like that. In those days it was all called the human potential movement, and I like that because I'm interested not in fixing people with problems, but in getting people to show more of their potential.
Okay. Oh. Nice. Why a massage therapist should have an interest for fascia or your even?
Yeah, the fascial system, everybody has known fascia as this is a tendon, this is the iliotibial tract, this is the interosseous membrane. We have taken individual fascial structures in the musculoskeletal system. But in point of fact, the whole musculoskeletal system is encased and invested like a spider web, like a three-dimensional spider web, with a fabric. What do you call it? Yeah. fabric.
Comme un tissu.
Yeah, and that tissu, it's a good word in French, is going all over everything. So your muscles are surrounded it, but not only your muscles, your eyes that I'm looking at, and your voice box that I'm using right now, and anything else that you can name in the body is encased in this system. So we've thought about individual parts of the system. We haven't thought about how the whole system works. Let me give you an analogy. We've thought about how neurons work, but we also think, how does the whole nervous system work? We think about how red blood cells work. We also think about how the whole circulatory system works. We think about the iliotibial band, but we haven't been thinking about how the whole fascial system works. So, as a massage therapist, you can't put your hands on the body without touching the fascia. So it would be a good idea to know, how does it get stuck? How does it get unstuck? What are the chemical things that bind to it? What are the different types in different people? That's one of the things we're discovering is you might not have the same fascia that I do, and therefore we should be treated differently.
Okay, and for you, what is the difference? Oh, hi, morning. For you, what is the difference between fascia and connective tissue? Is that a difference between us?
No. Fascia is a popular word that people are using for connective tissue.
Oh, yeah.
If you are a scientist and a researcher, I can get down and parse the definitions between what is extracellular matrix and what is connective tissue, and what are connective tissue-derived cells, which is something different, and so there are all kinds of distinctions. But generally, when you say fascia, you are saying what holds us together, and the connective tissue is what holds us together. The difference is that connective tissue also includes all your white blood cells. But your fascial system is not really your white blood cells. That's your army that fights the people from the outside, the bacteria from the outside. But the rest of the connective tissue system is what holds us together.
Okay, you have to make a choice.
Yep.
Either Rolf or Jean-Claude Guimberteau.
Either Rolf or Jean-Claude Guimberteau?
Yeah.
I don't know what category we're putting them in, because they're two different things.
Nice answer.
Jean-Claude Guimberteau has not pioneered a method. He is a surgeon. What he did was go in and film the fascia in the living body. That is amazing, but it's not a method. Ida Rolf told us about fascia, but gave me a method, what I was talking about before about my friend whose rib cage changed. She gave me a method for actually changing people. It happened to be about the fascia. I happened to get very interested in the fascia, but the thing that got me going, and the thing that still has me in this 50 years later, is that people can change much more than we thought they could change.
Oh, yeah, nice. I love that. Does the body compensate, or does the body adapt? Did you see a difference? Or it's the same thing, compensation or adaptation for the body?
All compensations are adaptations of the body to whatever circumstance we find ourselves. So gravity is a big thing of our circumstance. It has no shadow, it doesn't sleep, so gravity is a very big one. But then you think of your social status and how you stay alive in the society. Well, your status in the society is very important to you. And if your status if you are a yoga teacher and your status requires that you be open in the front, well, then you might put on a bit of compensations that gives you entry into that group. Yes?
Okay.
Or if I want to be in a group of people who are really cool, I can't walk in there like this. I have to walk in there like this. That's cool. Yeah?
Okay.
So we take on compensations because of our attitudes. We take on compensations because of our injuries. And those most of those adaptations are adaptive. They bring us into a better harmony. The trouble is if you keep them, and you keep them, and you keep them, after a while they are limiting. Okay,
and what is your strength as a therapist, and what is your weakness as a therapist?
Empathy is my weakness as a therapist.
Yeah.
And don't try to bullshit me is my strength.
That's hot. I love that. I really love that. What is your highlight in Quebec City this weekend?
Food. I put on a kilo. I was only here for 2 days, and I put on a kilo.
And
No, I love this city. I was saying yesterday to the people here, this is such a warm city. We're just in Montreal, and I love Montreal too, and it's a very young city and a lot is happening, but this is a very warm city. It's a warm-hearted city to me. And some people had said, oh, Quebec is cold, but I didn't find it that way at all.
Oh, not yet.
Very warm.
In a few weeks. That's going to be...
Oh, no, literally cold. I'm talking about the people.
Oh, okay.
Warm-hearted people and just a warming place to be.
Yes. Last question, but not the least. Would you like to be a guest on one of her podcast episodes one day?
Would I like to be a guest on who?
On my podcast.
I have achieved my dream of being on your podcast, Emily.
Merci beaucoup, Tom, pour ce matin.
Oh, this was great fun. Thank you.
Fait que, écoutez, pour la traduction, c'est écrit dans les sous-titres, une belle petite conversation. Puis, nous, on se start pour une deuxième journée de formation. Bye tout le monde!